Welcome to From Me to We, where good people become great teams. Small shifts, big wins, and a culture built from the ground up.
Picture this. You're standing in a crew meeting, everybody's half awake, coffee in hand, and suddenly your lead calls out that you set up the ladder wrong, in front of everyone. I used to get this immediate hot cheek, sweaty palms feeling like, dang, I'm about to get medieval on this guy. But here's where I learned something life-changing. Getting called out doesn't have to burn you up. If you can flip how you take feedback, it's like pouring rocket fuel into your career instead of, gasoline on a fire. So let me throw it to you, Miles. In my experience, it seems like people who are coachable end up winning bigger.
It's not just a hunch, it's hard data. Research shows that coachability, being curious, adaptable, the person who asks, what should I try next, links way more to performance and promotions than just doing your job well. HR leaders are actively looking for people who use feedback like jetpacks, not shields. Look at Microsoft. Before Satya Nadella showed up, it was a prove-you-know-it-all culture. He flipped everything by saying, be a learn-it-all. Suddenly, people could fail, learn, adapt, and the whole company skyrocketed. So it's not just a nice-to-have. Learning on the fly is your secret to success.
I love that, Miles. And according to the book, Thanks for the Feedback, when you receive feedback, 3 little triggers like to jump in and mess with your mind. There's the truth trigger where you're like, nope, that's just wrong. The relationship trigger is, wait, who are you to tell me this? And the tough one, the identity trigger, when the feedback shakes how you see yourself. Honestly, the identity thing, that's the one that always tripped me up, especially back in school when a professor would rip apart my work. It always felt personal, even if it wasn't. Jake, Miles, which trigger gets you the most?
Oh, relationship trigger all day. Like, if it comes from somebody I don't think has their own stuff together, I used to just check out. But I've learned that's a fast way to miss what I could actually use. And Amani, you just reminded me, sometimes the sting is a sign there's a win hiding in there if you can get past the adrenaline spike.
Yeah, I used to get the boardroom jitters. Sitting in those consultant reviews, feedback felt like it was a test of my entire worth, not just something to try on the next project. Took me too long to realize. Name the trigger, and you control the reaction, not the other way around. And, Jake, if you're sweating in that crew meeting, that's basically your brain telling you it's time to upgrade your playbook.
And the magic is, you can rewire how you respond. We all get triggered. You name it, you calm it. Simple. Feedback goes from sting to swing.
All right, let's get real. What do you actually do when feedback comes from the people who push your buttons the most? Like peer-to-peer. That's tough because it feels like they're on your level, and your ego whispers, who are you to tell me? Or is it a direct report? That can sting even more. Our pride wants to say, I'm the boss, not you. And of course, feedback from your manager is its own test. Our defense kicks in because it feels like judgment on our future, not just our work.
Well said, Jake. Those are the 3 hot zones where receiving feedback well matters most. Get it wrong, and you look defensive, thin-skinned, or closed off. Get it right, and you build trust, earn respect, and turn the moment into fuel for growth. That's why we lean on the 6-move playbook for flipping feedback from a stress bomb into a power-up. First up, name the frame. When feedback drops, I ask, hey, is this coaching, evaluation, or just a tip? Because nothing throws you off like thinking it's a quick suggestion and realizing later it was actually a grade. Clarifying the frame lowers the tension immediately.
Example. Let's say your peer says, your ticket notes are thin. Instead of snapping back, just take it as peer-to-peer coaching and reply, thanks for the feedback. What's the impact you're seeing? Suddenly, the feedback moves from personal to practical.
Second move, park the porcupine. When the spike of defensiveness hits, ego, identity, pride, you pause, breathe, and literally name it. That stung. Okay, learning mode, how do I get value from it?
Example. A manager says, you cut corners on the forklift yesterday. Your instinct is to argue, but instead you park it, breathe, and respond. Appreciate the feedback. Yesterday at the loading dock, I skipped the horn, right? That put the crew at risk. I'll announce every corner today, and I'll write it on the whiteboard so the crew copies it. That's not just surviving feedback, it's converting it into a visible upgrade. And equally important, your manager will consider you coachable.
Here's how I think about it. Peer-to-peer first. Let's say a teammate tells me, your notes are too thin. People keep asking me for details. My old self would have jumped to defend. Now I just say, got it. I'll add closing steps and status updates. Check me on it next time. That flips it from a jab into something we can both use. Now from a manager. If my boss says, That presentation wasn't clear. I don't spiral into I'm failing. I just answer, thanks. I'll tighten the headline and lead with the key point next time. And then I actually do it. So the next version proves I listened. And here's the tough one. Feedback from someone who reports to you. They say, you cut me off in meetings. Pride wants to kick in right there, but I've learned to answer with humility. I appreciate you pointing that out. Next time I'll pause and make sure you finish. Hold me accountable. That's how we work as a team here. That's it. 3 different directions, same principle. Don't fight it, don't freeze. Just pull the usable piece, act on it fast, and let people see the upgrade.
And here's a quick tip. When the feedback feels tangled, ask, can you SBI it for me? Situation, when, behavior, what, impact, how did this affect the outcome, turns blur into crystal. Simple and practical, turn criticism into a checklist.
And don't forget kernel, not the cob. Even if 90% seems off, find that one kernel of truth you can use. Like, I wouldn't run the whole project that way, but that tip on notes, I'll try that tomorrow.
Yeah, and keep it in sight. Show the receipt. Text your peer or your manager. Tried your tip, here's what changed, here's the result. That's how you become somebody people want to coach and work with, and they'll be more open to receiving feedback from you.
So let's take all of this and make it stick. Tomorrow morning, literally before you clock in, text someone you trust. What's one thing I could have done better yesterday? That's your one thing ask. Then the next time feedback dings you, try labeling your trigger. Relationship trigger. Identity trigger. Just naming it changes your posture. After you try a tweak, shoot a one-liner to your peer. Used your tip, result was X. Simple, real-world upgrades.
Here's my hot-off-the-press example. Coaching call last week. Client flagged I wasn't making space for silence. Hurt my ego a little, to be honest. But I texted back afterward and said, added your 2-breath rule in my next session. Conversation went deeper. Engagement was real. Didn't take months. Took 1 cycle. Action, feedback, adjustment. That's the loop.
And on my end, yesterday on site, my lead called out that I was rushing the safety checks. Instead of getting salty, I said, truth noted, I need to start using a checklist. End of day, I texted, made a checklist to using going forward, already found 2 issues before they caused drama. Pause, reflect, upgrade, then go louder in the group chat. That's job site gold and culture building in action.
Workshop moment for me, mid-session participant told me, your story was relatable, but you rushed the debrief. Instead of bracing up, I asked, what did you want to hear more about? She gave me a killer follow-up question, and now I build that into every session. Show the receipt, and suddenly everyone's giving each other better notes.
And this is where our community action threads make a real difference. You're not just listening, you're posting your one thing ask, your kernel win, your before-after responses. The more you post, the faster you upskill, way faster than waiting for some HR initiative to trickle down.
Bottom line, this stuff only works if you do it. Do the action items. Seriously, start that one thing ask, do the park the porcupine game, hunt for your 10% truth. We want you to be the teammate bosses fight to keep. Start today, not someday.
And let's be real, story sticks harder than advice, so if one of these moves helps you out this week, share it, please.
Take care, crew. Be the one they remember. See ya in the next chapter.
You've been listening to From Me to We. Remember, every great team starts with one brave choice.